Three, two, one. It's time for the countdown. And now that's the one. And someone just pointed at me. So that means it's actually time for me to do the thing. That's it. Oh, thanks. It was really right off the top of the head there. Like, I was made up. I was making stuff up today. Painting with jazz. Painting with jazz. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Atomic Mass Transmissions Live. Today, we're painting up the Quinjet. I've been super excited for this miniature for a while. Miniature, more like a bigature, for a while. And so we're going to go over some techniques and some philosophies and just hang out, chat, ask me some questions. We're just going to use the airbrush. This is the first time we use the airbrush on stream. So we're going to test it out. Tell us what you think. Tell us if you'd like to see more, of course. And until, I guess we just kick it over to the minicam now and let's get started. Let's make some paints. Let's make some paints. Quality singing, I agree. Just making it up as I go with my airbrush and some paints. Got the Quinjet and an airbrush and a rubber glove. That's the song. All right, so we can go a couple different ways. We got the Quinjet here, and we got its base for the Quinjet. I got this airbrushed with some black and white zenithal. This is how I start the concrete. You can see the concrete on here. This is how I typically start the concrete for all the studio that are done like this, and then my personal stuff as well. So black and white, zenith, and then we do some washes and stuff. But we're not going to focus on too much on that. We just got the base here for reasons. Got the airbrush ready. So should we do a blue-black, or should we do like a just regular gray-black? What do we think here? It's non-interactive. Nick Tay, that's correct. It's non-interactive. It's got a little X4X, means it's non-interactive. It would be cool to see it painted without an airbrush. It's totally possible. You don't need an airbrush to do anything. Airbrushes are like anything. It's just a tool in the toolkit. You don't have to have it. It makes certain things quicker, certain things easier. Makes some stuff more difficult, like painting eyes. Don't paint an eye with an airbrush, unless it's on a big bust, and then you can probably. I prefer to use my airbrush as like base coats and some general, like beginning to create the volume philosophy on the miniature. We're just mixing some stuff. Do camouflage so you can't see it. I don't know if I can get behind a camouflage Quinjet. Blue, black, blue, black, blue, black. Everybody's saying blue, black. So we're going to make some blue, black. So we're going to put some Hold Your Blue mixed into some black paint. We're going to mix it up. I got a little medium to thin it down, a little water. Also, I use a lot of mix of alcohol water. 10 parts water, 1 part isopropyl will take you a long way. I think that's a little, maybe that's a little too blue. Stipple technique. Yeah, stipple technique works pretty good. I like the stipple technique. There's all kinds of ways. There's paint smash, there's wet blend. There's all kinds of ways to paint. You would love to see some, well, I'm not prepped for yellow, but we can put yellow on the, why don't we put yellow on the docket? We can do the orange red windows. I have the studio one here as well as reference. So you can see the orange windows here. We can do something like that. And we're probably going to do 2 streams on this. So let's see where we go. I needed some blue tack. So like with all our miniature airplanes, it's a little back heavy. So it wants to flip back. A lot a lot of scale model airplanes, you put like fishing weights in the back or in the nose, or they use a base kind of like we do. So it's just something to keep in mind. So I want to bring up this panel here. An X-Men logo? No, this is a Quinjet. Now I want to come in at direction. See this panel? I want that panel dark, but I want to start highlighting this. So the philosophy of the alcohol / and if you need a mask, you can use a playing card. To get that nice straight line. This is barely blue. We're just slowly building it in there. TK, so it's a little bit of, it's water and alcohol mixed together, 10-to-1. I have a little bottle here. Mix, and what that does is it starts to break the paint apart to thin it out without being just water. It's really good for thinning the paint in your airbrush. We want to get the edges of the wings, bringing into the center of the mass with the black. Like I said, you can barely see this right now. Yeah, it helps break it apart and apply it much smoother. Any good? Well, we got the whole hour to talk about airbrush tips. That's why we're doing an airbrush. That's why we're doing the airbrush. You can buy pre-made mixtures as well. I got alcohol already and a little water and got a little bottle and a little that and this, and I'm ready to go. So beginning airbrush tips, as with all painting, don't be afraid to fail. I think that's the biggest tip for any new type of endeavor, is don't be afraid to fail. You're not going to nail it the first time, and that's okay. Start with something big. I personally like starting with big vehicles and stuff when learning how to airbrush. I can probably turn that down just a little bit. I'm running at like 35 psi. But pick something big and simple and focus on big volumes. Whoops. Meep. You can also practice by just learning how to do zenith priming, which we talk about a lot on the stream, using black primer and white primer to create a volumetric study on the miniature to get you started. Is a really good way to learn your brush control, learn the finger control. It's not just about yanking the trigger back. You really got to learn how to control the trigger. So a double action airbrush like the one I'm using, you have the double action the first action is down, which opens up the airflow. The second action is back, which opens up the paint flow. So that's the double action. So learning how to push down just enough and pull back just enough for what you're doing is super important and a skill that you really want to develop. TK, yeah, I actually agree. Like, I love the airbrush, And I'm like, it saves so much time. And then you spend an hour cleaning it up. So let's kick that up a notch. We're going to grab some lighter blue. Not that one. Let's do something like this. Nope, that's silver. My gosh. Stick. Oh, this one. Yeah, let's put a little bit of that in there. Hopefully this bottle's been open. No, we pay everybody that works for us. Release. We're very hands-on. We do our own. Yeah, you don't want clumps. So learning how to, that's the big thing you're learning how to do when practicing an airbrush. Learning how to control those clumps and those lumps. Okay, we're focused on this again. We're not in a rush here. Light touch. And we're blending that, like I said, toward the center. We're letting that center mass of the wing be more black. Then we want this card back again. And we're going to use this as a mask. To create those sharp lines on the miniature. They don't need to be perfect right now, right? We can work lines and kind of get what we want as we go along with the process. Remember, it's all about refining and defining.
So, Dallas, when you're using alcohol to make thin, does it matter what volume it is? So, like 70%, 91%?
I buy the 70 or 90. It doesn't. I don't think it really matters. Like I've not found any time where I'm like, well, should have grabbed the 90. I'm sure, depending on what you do and your process, that's always going to change, of course. But for me, I've not ever had any true difference. Can you see that blue building up? Is it starting to, yeah. I didn't hit the miniature with the airbrush. It's a little back heavy. I got blue tack trying to hold it down for me, but the blue tack is not wanting to participate. Let's do. Oh, yeah. Let's do, I love these shapes here, so I want to accentuate that. I'm going to use my cardigan. Not my cardigan, that's a sweater. My cardigan. Also, Summer's super excited because on this stream, I'm going to show my progress on our Magneto that we started on stream. So if you're interested in that, let me know. Mm-hmm. So lesson I'm learning. It's very difficult to airbrush in a studio format like this. I need to practice my setup a little bit. Nah, you're good. You're good. We're good. We're going to do that front of these fins. Oh, no, we're out. So I have a very strict rule of close enough is good enough. So I'm going to mix paint again in my cup, and close enough is going to be good enough. I'll make it work. Do the wings move? Which wings are you talking about there, Jez? The little flippers at the end, they can be positioned, but they're designed to be positioned down. I think with a little work, you could probably change them up. Missing that question, did you create that card or where can it be found? What was this card? This is like a promo card this is like a marketing promotional card from the first Gen Con when we announced. I don't remember what we used, but it's the only thing. I had some other cards, but I couldn't have them on stream. So I found this and I was just like, that's my masking card today. That's the one. There's definitely been some Quinjet flying around studio action for sure. I mean, it's not every day you get to, I think Shik's talked about it before. I definitely started in scale models when I was a wee lad. And so I came from building model kits and stuff like that and got into miniatures pretty quick afterwards. So it's not every day you get a chance to like actually design and build an airplane quick kit. And so it was a lot of fun, especially, being something near and dear to many of our hearts, definitely mine, like the Quinjet. It's just very exciting to get a chance to come up with this kit and work on it and all the engineering and design, conundrums that these kind of kits present. Every miniature is its own little magic puzzle that you kind of gotta grok. Something that you learn on one, you're like, oh, yeah, that makes perfect sense. Like, and then you go to do it on the next miniature, and you're like, that doesn't work this time. Why does that not work? And you have to ask yourself that. Why does that not work? TK42, I don't have the cards in front of me, and it's been a while since I played Magneto, so I don't have those immediately. We did not consider making it a rocket. We don't make rockets. We make miniature hobby kits. And we'll leave rockets to rocket men. I'll stick with miniatures. How big is the Quinjet? I mean, you can see right here, those are 1 inch squares.
You have to compare the miniatures
Yeah, we can put a miniature next to it for sure. I'm a little bit lighter. I'm gonna go a little bit lighter. Just mixing some blues over here, some lovely blues. I don't think our plastic is designed to withstand those temperatures. I didn't talk about rockets. All right, we got a little bit lighter. I'm testing it over here on a cloth. Get that trigger. We're just lighting it up. One more step. To get those nice blends, like even with traditional painting, right? It's about a slow, steady buildup sometimes. You're not rushing in. That's what fools do. Like I said, I like to accentuate those lines that are, apparent in the sculpt. And whoa, that's a spoodle. We're just gonna blend that out. Out of paint, one more time, into the breach. What we got? Talk about a prize. Well, I think that was set up by Adepticon. I don't have any information on that there. Jimmy. I don't think I ever did snap tight. I don't think I ever did not any that I remember. I mean, maybe there was one, but I don't remember ever doing a snap tight. I kind of just jump right in and learn to do the thing, Small parts. Oh, get a box or an apron. That's what those old school hobbyists do, Use learning the panel line, learning to weather with like charcoal pencils or pastels, stuff like that. A couple years ago, I hung out with a friend and he showed me using a number 2 pencil, or a graphite pencil, more precisely, not a number 2, but a graphite pencil for metallics on scale models. So a lot of those stuff we talk about here on the streams. Now this is like real blue now. So we're building it up. We're making that blue jet. Like I said, I really want I love this little line right here. How long I don't have to guess. I've built 4 Quinjet Quinjets. This one I built yesterday. Actually, just kind of during meetings, and it probably took I don't even think it took me an hour to build. It's a pretty straightforward build. You got the top hole, 2 bottom holes. The wings are in 2 parts, so you snap those together and you snap those in. Then these go in between the holes. The back door goes on. The little jets go in when you snap the hole together. Then you put the wheels on and the wings on. You're done. It's a pretty straightforward build. What do you think? A little more blue there? Should we keep going? Oh, I'm stoked for mini extravaganza. I am. They have no idea. They have no idea, do they? What they're in for mini extravaganza. Little feather. Summer's over watching now.
How to get a better look, sir?
Should we keep going with the blue? Do you want a little bit more before we start doing like edges and stuff? What do you think? I think let's do one more round. Let's do one more round. A little black in there. Little touch of black. I think we can walk away from the hold your blue. Why is the windscreen not clear plastic? Because there's no cockpit inside it. We decided to not go that route. I'm doing a dance at mini extravaganza. This is news to me. This has not been.
Put that in the marketing plan, sir.
What?
Put in the marketing plans for me.
Really?
We're doing a little do.
A little dance doodle. Let's put some white in there. I didn't know. This is news. I can't talk about what DRB. I can't talk about what's happening at mini extravaganza. It's gonna be awesome. We're gonna have plenty to show and talk about. Got some paint streams. Got some hangout times. All the stuff that, you've come to expect and love from Atomic Mass Games. So this is going to be a little bit less. We're not getting too crazy on this extra layer of blue here. We're just going to snap that in and accentuate some of the volumes. Really focus on like the way a car might read. I look at a lot of cars for reference, by the way. If you're walking through a parking lot, look at the colors of a car. It's really interesting how light works on that. I need to black that back out. We're just working our areas. Like I said, working from the outside in. Trying to build up those volumes. Can you request a miniature class, a miniature paint? You could. Why not? Making bases using leftover frames from miniatures. I don't think I quite understand what we're doing there, Release. Last mini extravaganza, we definitely did a making, we did some bases. That was a lot of fun. How to decorate your bases. And, I definitely think of the Crisis Protocol bases as blank, because they're just plastic. You can put anything you want right over top of it with a little hobby. And that's what we do. We make miniature hobby games, and so doing a little hobby to make those bases unique and yours. It's always fun and rewarding. It's kind of my favorite part of miniatures, and kind of what drew me to miniatures is that making something uniquely mine, we might have the same force on the table, but mine's going to look different, and I'm going to try my best to make mine look different and play within the realms of kind of what what's presented in the lore or the miniatures. Oh, look at that. It's popping now. Leftover frames. Use parts for miniature. Yeah, I could see what I'm leftover. Are you talking about the actual frame, like the square framing? I'm not quite sure I understand, Release. What determines what base comes in a pack? I've never seen the large base with a rail divider. That's all random. All the bases, the large ones are random. There's 2 large base designs. There's 3 medium base designs, and there's 4 small base designs. 30, 50, 65 millimeters accordingly. Those are all just random in packaging at the factory. So, of course, the 4 are all together on a single frame. So when you get all 4, because it's just on one single frame, which means it's very easy to pack. And then the 2 are on a single frame, and then the 65s are on a single frame each. So those are random. Those are randoms. We're going to kick this up one more time. Yeah, you could definitely chop up the square frame that comes on your miniatures. That makes really good basing rubble. If you chop it up into little bits, you can make really good, busted up stuff, like brickwork basically, or just concrete or something. If you just take a frame and chop it down, you can pile it up around miniatures and make it look like stuff has been busted up. All right, I think this is a little bit lighter. And it is. Sometimes it's hard to tell in the cup. Especially when you're painting with jazz like I am today. So like something like this, I want that like nice tight edge. I'm coming in from that side, right? You see I'm coming in at that angle. And that way the overspray actually hits this panel back behind and a little bit over here, but it doesn't hit this panel. And that makes that panel darker. So I'm kind of cheating at masking. I don't have to mask it all off. I can just, plus I don't care if it's actually super perfect. I'm okay with mistakes and sort of imperfections. This is just going on my gaming table, so if it's a little not correct, it doesn't matter to me. It's still going to look cool, and the rule of cool rules all. Once again, I love that line, so I want to accentuate that. So I want to use my little mask card and get that sweet line there. It looks so good. I would say less than an inch. Like just chop it down even tighter, like, maybe 5 mil or so. There, release. Different colored dice packs. It's definitely something we've talked about. I like to say that there ain't no think, we ain't thunk. There's a lot of ideas. It's always about finding the timing and the right way to do stuff. And sometimes there's just, just haven't got to things yet. If I could do everything on my list to do in one day, there'd be a lot of stuff done. Very broad stroke here. Just keep accentuating. What do we think? What do we think, chat? What do we think? What size is the train? It's a 4 uninteractive. AMG hoodies. Yeah, talk to, I don't know, Simone or somebody about that. Not me. Wrong guy. Accentuate that corner. Making my Quinjet pop. So we do one more layer. I feel like we can go one more. Yeah, just brushes. That's just a lot of work. It's totally doable. I'm a firm believer in there's no cheating and painting. Everything is just a tool in the toolbox. But you don't use a screwdriver to put a 16 penny nail in a 2x4. Right tool for a job. And you can totally brush this, and there's definitely people out there that will and can. I'm lazy. I'm lazy. I used to work for a burger joint, and I was told the owner, I was like, always hire a lazy man. He's like, don't ever hire a lazy man. I'm like, always hire a lazy man. He'll find the quickest way to get the job done. One more pop, super subtle, just at little corners and edges, just to give some accent, just like that. See that little corner just pops? And like you can see, I got like a double airbrush line there. And technically that's not correct. But I actually kind of like the effect because it kind of like, I don't know, it's just some weird lighting that I think kind of makes it look interesting and different. So I'm okay with it. So hopefully you can see how just building this up has helped sell the overall look. You know, it's not about just rushing to the finish line. It's about just working those shapes and those lines, creating those interesting panels. I'll pop a little bright highlight right here. Just get that nice bright focus right on the front, right? This is the cockpit, so it's kind of like the old adage, faces and bases. You know, you want to focus on your face of your miniature. You want to focus on the base of the miniature. That gives you that pop and that zing that makes it more interesting. Whoa, there's that. Got some spittles. Quick. Clean it up. Stay away from that spot. Stay away. That's why you always test to the side. So like if you notice a lot of times I test off to the side before coming into the miniature. You want to make sure you don't have any weird clog that's about to unclog itself upon your finely airbrushed surface. It's like, look how beautifully smooth that is, spittles. It's just all part of that learning process, and you know, like I talk, right? Like, be okay with the fails, and nothing's got to be perfect. Choose the destiny of the miniature, and the miniature destiny of this Quinjet is not a painting competition. So if it looks a little funky, funky fried it is. I don't know. I need to step back. I'm going to step back. Do y'all ever step back? Whether do you plan different with painting for a climate like Carolinas with high airbrush question? With brushes, yeah, always plan for the humidity. Always plan for the humidity. You know, this is why I say recipes are kind of bunk. You know, oh, use 2 drops of water to 1 drop of paint, you know. Well, that doesn't really work in all atmospheric conditions. And also, your dropper bottle might have a bigger hole than mine. I don't know. You got to kind of paint and get the feel and learn about the feel. And I know that sounds weird because you're not actually touching the paint, but get used to it. You just got to put time into things. You got to learn to love the fail. And that's exactly what we're talking about here. Is just get in there and see what works for you and what works in your climate condition. And, you know, sometimes you're going to boff it, and that's okay. Now's the worst part. You got to clean the airbrush, but we can do that off. We can do that off screen because it's real boring. I got a little. I'm just catching all the overspray. There's not enough overspray to matter right now. It's just paint. So there's not enough overspray to really matter. So we're gonna put some of that 10-to-1 alcohol water in the cup. We're gonna dump it out. We're gonna spray through, and then we're gonna bubble back. All that means is I'm putting my finger in front of it. I'm pulling the needle back and letting the paint blow back into the cup. That gets all the paint out of the chamber. And just make sure that that needle's nice and clean. All right, now it's time to get out the brush. So we got a big old brush here. I think it's pretty good. I'm very happy with this result. So we're gonna mix. We got what, 15 minutes? Man, I killed it today. We have to find lunch now. After the stream. A little touch of black. Can you see my mix? Now can you see my mix? What we just put on top? So I'm just gonna make a little color here. Put a little black in there to desaturate and darken. That was a little too much black. A little white, or a lot. We're just making a mess. I'm just trying to, I actually like having it above the miniature because I can kind of get a feel for the tone. A little more blue. Yeah. That's the ticket. What is under, it's just an empty chamber under there. Just an empty chamber. All right, let's get out our brush. I'm going to use the edge of my brush. How's that? You want to pull the camera back a little bit?
Try not to
We're making an adjustment.
hurt our friends' eyes.
Ryland TV, yep, that was a little too much black. You know, sometimes you just drop a little too much of a color in the paint cup, and that's okay. Just okay. I don't like that angle.
No?
Not for me, for me. We're just using the side of the brush. We're going to paint on the edges. That'll divide those panels out much better. Sometimes it's about like just kind of manipulating the miniature around to find the right angle for your hand and the brush. Is this the biggest miniature we've worked on to date? I don't know. The Sanctum Sanctorum was pretty darn big. That sanctum was really big. And I absolutely love that building. Turned out super good. It was a lot of fun to build and work on with the sculptor to kind of devise the way we kind of broke that apart. Was Nate Brooks, which is the same one that did the apartment building, and I worked on with him, and we had a lot of fun, like trying to figure out how to make all those apartment building floor levels work the way they did, you know. So a lot of interesting engineering kind of in the front of the design. Before we even started sculpting it, we actually kind of did a lot of pre-engineering and philosophy to kind of design it. So those were a lot of fun to work on. Yeah, there's a second jet. That's the studio one. That's the one I painted for the studio. And I like having reference. I talk all the time about reference. It's good to have something to look at while you're working. Kind of give you some guideposts. You don't have to copy it, but sometimes it's just good to have little guideposts. Let's paint these little windows, and you can do some little, like we have that little line, that wonderful little line. We can accentuate it. I am kind of freehanding that. I apologize. Kind of accentuates that center line a little bit. You can see it. It's a like there. It's not super pronounced, but if you draw a line there, you can kind of show that division of the panels. And honestly, the goal here is just to kind of do this all over the jet, just like you see in the one back over there. All these little edges, just get like a quick side of the brush. And it just breaks those panels apart for you. Flip it over. Flip it like this. Can you see? And I like these little double lines sometimes the brush gets. Those little imperfect double lines. I think it adds a lot of personality to the paint job. This is difficult to get. I'll probably do that off screen. Well, we'll try to do it because it is difficult. Let's see. We're going to come in there like this. We're going to angle the brush and then come from this side. Then come from this side. I don't remember how I did this before. It's going to be tricky. There we go. Now we got our line. Do we want to highlight this direction? No, this direction because you're going to see it from the front. And just like that. All right, we're closing up on the end of the show, so you better get your questions in. And remember that every Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Wait, not Thursday. Man, I got in my head there. Currently, every Tuesday, Wednesday at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, we are streaming here on Twitch. It's Atomic Mass Transmissions Live. Yesterday, Mr. Will Schick painted up some fun stuff. I joined that for a little bit. I had a meeting I had to go to, so I didn't get to stay for the whole thing. But I really can't wait to see the finished product that he was working on yesterday. So you can join Schick on Tuesdays, me on Wednesdays. We take turns painting different stuff. That's the way it works. If you were looking for a pattern, I just told you the pattern. I don't know, maybe the pattern was obvious. I don't know. So you can join us on Twitch. Check out all the painting. Soon we'll be back. I don't know when, but eventually we'll be back with some game streams on Thursdays which I'm super excited for. I feel like I need to challenge Josh to a game. I don't even know why. I just feel like I need to. Let's do something fun. We're going to do some little... Let's just do some little cross-hatching, little lines to show, kind of show reflection and stuff. Just kiss the edge of that trim line.
Dallas,
Yeah.
is the jet, is it just terrain or is it scenario as well?
It is just terrain. We can do some more of those little... Some little lines. I like fun little marks and stuff, just adding visual interest where we can. Yeah, it kind of puts that painter's thumbprint on the piece. And I think the plan is to come back in a couple weeks and work on the Quinjet again. Is that true?
That is true.
That's the current plan. So barring anything changing, we'll come back and we'll work on our Quinjet.
Are you gonna do the exciting things then?
Oh, the exciting thing. Oh my gosh. We only got minutes left. We got minutes. We got minutes. Okay, so what was it? 2 weeks ago? 3 weeks ago? We started working on Magneto, and we did Magneto for 2 weeks, right? I was going to show people where we were at with our Magneto. So let's do this. Let's do this. Everybody be patient. I got it. Everybody be real patient. Everybody be real patient. So I finished up the Magneto. Well, barring one part, I still got one bit that I need to glue to him. So first off, we got the door. How's that look?
Let me sharpen it.
Sharpen it. This blue tack is for the paint cup or the paint lid that goes over it. That's how that works. How's that look?
No, that should be much sharper.
No, make it sharp. Make it sharp. Summer, make it sharp. There you go. Yep. So there's a door. And here's the girder. Yeah, it needs to be tilted up. We can just lower. And then there is our Magneto all done. With this big, lovely purple cape. So all finished up. And we were just talking about, somebody said, we'd love to see what happens when everything gets done. It's like, well, this one is one that is done. This one's even got. So there you go. Nailed it. 2 o'clock. Shall we call it?
I think we have.
Okay, let me cut my light. Ready? Now you're ready. Okay, so remember every Tuesday and Wednesday, 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, you can join us here at Twitch. Watch us do some fun hobby stuff. Hopefully pick up some, some tidbits and some inspiration and take it to your next hobby project and then pass that information on to the next generation as well. And if you're looking for all the latest news, information, and announcements from Atomic Mass Games, you should check us out on Twitter and Instagram. That's where all the good stuff happens. And so you know what's going to come up. So until next time, go be the hero you want to be and get those paintbrushes and give it a go. We'll see you later. Dun 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 dun. Bum 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 bum.